I don't trust anyone anymore after what I discovered. I'll tell you everything that happened to me, but before I begin, please don't forget to leave a like if you enjoy Midnight Fear stories. I'm a 20-year-old woman. About 12 years ago, my cousin Yulia lost both of her parents in a car accident. After that, she came to live with us. My mom and dad treated her like their own daughter, and I always thought of her as my sister. We grew up together, and she was only a few years older than me. When she started college, she decided that she wanted to live on her own, away from us. Even though my mom kept trying to get closer to her, Yulia always kept her distance. As soon as she moved out, she completely cut off all contact with us. We tried so many times to reach her, but she never answered our calls. Honestly, I could never understand why she was treating us that way when we had never done anything to hurt her. One day, my grandmother called and told me that Yulia had suddenly shown up at her house in terrible condition. We rushed over as fast as we could to see her. The moment we saw her, we were completely shocked. She looked like a completely different person. Her face was covered in scratches, both of her arms were full of cuts, and she kept moving her eyes in a strange, unsettling way. Sadly, we found out that she had become addicted to drugs, so we immediately took her to a doctor to begin treatment. I'll never forget the nights when she screamed and scratched herself because of the withdrawal symptoms. I felt so sorry for her, but I couldn't stop wondering how her life had reached that point. I wanted to stay by her side, but I had exams, so I had to travel. My parents stayed with my grandmother to take care of Yulia. One night, while I was asleep, I woke up to someone knocking on my door. As I got up, I remember thinking, who could possibly be here this late at night? When I opened the door, it was Yulia. Honestly, I never expected to see her because the last time I spoke to my mom, she told me they had admitted her to a rehabilitation center. Yulia, how did you get here? Are you okay? She didn't answer. She simply smiled and walked into my house. Something about her felt different, but I couldn't figure out what it was. She stood in the living room for a long time, staring at an old picture of us when we were children. Yulia, what's wrong? Does Mom know you're here? She slowly turned toward me and just stared, without saying a single word. It was as if she had forgotten how to speak. She didn't seem normal at all. I thought she must have escaped from the rehab center. I was just about to call my parents when my phone suddenly rang. Hold on for a second, Yulia. Let me answer this call. Stay here. I walked into my bedroom to answer it. Strangely enough, it was my mom. Mom, you're not going to believe what just happened. Yulia is... Before I could finish my sentence, I heard my mom crying. Mom, what's wrong? Yulia is gone. The rehab center just called. They said she cut her wrists. The second I heard those words, my entire body turned ice cold. My heart started pounding so hard, I thought it would burst out of my chest. If Yulia was dead, then who was standing outside my room? I slowly turned around. She was standing right behind me. I screamed, and everything went black. I woke up the next morning lying on the floor. When I remembered what had happened the night before, I tried to convince myself that maybe it had all been a dream or just my imagination. Later that same day, I traveled to my grandmother's house to attend Yulia's funeral. I didn't tell anyone about what had happened the night before. That night, I slept in the same bedroom where Yulia and I used to sleep whenever we visited our grandmother as kids. I couldn't stop thinking about her, or about what I had seen the night before. Eventually, I fell asleep. The next thing I knew, I woke up to the sound of my alarm. I opened my eyes, but I couldn't move my body. For several seconds, I was completely frozen. I realized I was experiencing sleep paralysis. It felt like my entire body was trapped, and I could barely breathe. My jacket was hanging behind the bedroom door. I kept staring at it. Then it looked like it started moving. Slowly, it changed into Yulia. She walked toward me and held out her hands. They were covered in blood. At that moment, I finally broke free from the sleep paralysis. But Yulia didn't disappear. She just stood there, staring at me. "What do you want from me? We never did anything to hurt you. We loved you. Please stop tormenting me like this." Just then, my mom heard me shouting and opened the bedroom door. The moment she stepped inside, she saw Yulia standing beside my bed. Yulia slowly turned toward her. My mom let out a horrifying scream. Then she collapsed. We rushed her to the hospital after she suffered a mild heart attack. She stayed there all night. The next day, she finally woke up, but she couldn't stop crying. "Mom, don't cry. We're not responsible for what happened to her. We stood by her as much as we could. There's something we've been hiding from you for years." "What is it, Mom?" "Yulia isn't your cousin." "What do you mean?" "She's your sister." "What? What are you talking about?" "Your father and I were engaged when we were in college. We made a terrible mistake, and I became pregnant." "What?" "Please, let me finish. We tried to end the pregnancy, but we couldn't. Your aunt couldn't have children, so your father told her everything. She suggested that we keep the pregnancy a secret. After the baby was born, she would raise her as if she were her own daughter. At the time, I was a college student living far away from my family, so I hid my pregnancy until I gave birth. Then your aunt took Yulia. After graduation, your father didn't abandon me. We got married. But every single day, it broke my heart to watch my own daughter grow up calling me aunt. One day, I noticed bruises all over Yulia's body. I realized your aunt and her husband had been abusing her. We called them and threatened to take Yulia away. They argued with us. They found out the truth about everything that had happened years before. They left with Yulia in their car, and that same day, they were involved in the accident. They all died, except for Yulia. You already know the rest. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. How could you hide something like this from me? Putting your mistake aside, why never did you tell me she was my sister? I didn't want you to know what had happened. And besides, she came back to us, didn't she? Are you serious? Your daughter lived her entire life and died without ever knowing who her real parents were. You left her with people who abused her and destroyed her life, and you stayed silent. You're the reason all of this happened to her. I always wondered why she became addicted. I'll never forgive you." I walked out of the hospital filled with anger. It's been 3 years now, and I still haven't spoken to my parents. I can't forgive them for what they did. I even blame myself because there was a time when I thought Yulia was just a spoiled, reckless girl. I had no idea how much suffering she had been through. I wish I had known she was my older sister before she died. I would have done everything I could possibly do to help her heal from everything she had endured. Even today, I still dream about Yulia standing beside my bed. I don't know if it's really her ghost or if it's simply because of the guilt I still feel toward her.